$6 tickets to a championship series. Empty seats echoing through what should have been the league's most electrifying moment. Two of the WNBA's most celebrated stars standing beneath blinding arena lights. Realizing in real time that without one specific player, the world simply stopped caring. The 2025 WNBA Finals weren't just disappointing. They were a public unraveling, brutal reality check that shattered every illusion the league had built about its newfound success. Imagine being A'ja Wilson or Jonquel Jones. You've fought tooth and nail through a grueling season, through endless travel, through the physical and mental toll of the playoffs, and you finally made it to the championship stage. This is supposed to be your crowning achievement. The cameras, the headlines, the roaring crowd, everything you've worked for. But when you step out onto that floor, what greets you isn't the roar of a sold-out crowd. It's silence. Rows upon rows of empty red seats staring back at you, hollow and cold. The energy is gone. The electricity that defines championship basketball has evaporated. Later that night, you check ticket resale sites and see the impossible final seats going for $6. This was supposed to be the payoff for a 2024 season that saw the WNBA finally capturing mainstream attention. Arenas were sold out. Ratings were through the roof. The league had momentum. It had buzz. For the first time, people weren't laughing at women's basketball. They were watching it, celebrating it, arguing about it. But as it turned out, that surge wasn't the dawn of a new era for the league. It was the Caitlin Clark era. And without her, everything started to collapse. Caitlin Clark's rookie year had been unlike anything the sport had ever seen. Every arena she entered became a sold-out event. Every highlight went viral. She wasn't just a player, she was a movement. The Indiana Fever, a team that had been an afterthought for years, suddenly became must-watch television. Clark's effortless shooting, magnetic personality, and competitive fire made her the centerpiece of a cultural phenomenon. Paired with Aaliyah Boston's dominance inside, the Fever didn't just win games, they reignited an entire league's relevance. Young girls started wearing her number. Social media buzzed every night she made women's basketball cool again. But when the Fever fell short in the playoffs, it was as if someone pulled the plug on the WNBA's power source. The casual fans, the millions who tuned in just to see Clark work her magic, vanished overnight. Ratings didn't just dip, they cratered. Nearly half the viewership disappeared between Indiana's elimination and the conference finals. 50% gone. Just like that. The league's marketing department scrambled to spin it. Behind the scenes, panic spread like wildfire. Executives were holding emergency meetings. Sponsors were demanding reassurances, and TV networks were quietly questioning whether their multi-million-dollar investments had been a mistake. Everything the league had built on Clark's shoulders was shaking, and the cruel irony, many of the players, now feeling the fallout, had spent the past year downplaying her importance. Wilson had made headlines claiming the league's success wasn't about one player, that it was the result of years of hard work by all women in the sport. She wasn't wrong about the past, but she was blind to the present, because when she took that floor for Game 1 and looked around at all those empty seats, the truth hit her harder than any defender ever could. Reports soon surfaced that the league's own players were furious, not just at the fans, but at management. During the finals, heated meetings took place behind closed doors where players demanded to know why the marketing push had vanished the moment Indiana was eliminated. The uncomfortable answer: because without Caitlin Clark, the marketing didn't work. The person everyone wanted to see was gone, and so was the money. Financially, the fallout was devastating. Teams that had budgeted based on record-breaking attendance numbers suddenly faced gaping shortfalls. Concessions tanked, merchandise sat untouched, and local sponsors began asking for contract revisions. One executive admitted privately that some teams went from planning facility upgrades to worrying about meeting payroll. The entire league had built its house on the foundation of a single superstar, and now that foundation was cracking. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, recovering from a shoulder injury, was still commanding more attention from her living room than the finals did from the court. Her workout clips were trending. Her appearance at an Iowa game triggered a 5-minute standing ovation. Even sidelined, she was the league's most valuable asset. Sports talk shows stopped covering the finals entirely, pivoting back to the NBA and NFL. When they did mention the WNBA, it was only to ask, why isn't anyone watching? Internationally, the damage was just as severe. European broadcasters that had added WNBA coverage during Clark's breakout year were already reconsidering. Overseas fans stopped engaging online. The league's dream of global expansion vanished as quickly as it appeared. By the time the confetti fell on the 2025 champions, nobody outside the arena seemed to care. The finals were an afterthought, a cautionary tale about what happens when a league mistakes a momentary spike for a sustainable rise. In the months that followed, the silence grew deafening. Players who had once dismissed Clark's influence began to shift their tone. A'ja Wilson, in a podcast appearance, cautiously admitted that the energy was different without certain players. Though she avoided saying Clark's name outright, the WNBA, realizing it couldn't survive another collapse, started plastering Clark's image across every piece of upcoming season marketing. Every promo, every banner, every ticket package, it was all about Caitlin Clark. The league wasn't even pretending anymore. The Fever's edition of Sophie Cunningham only amplified the hype. Early ticket sales shattered previous records. Indiana games were selling out in minutes again. It became painfully clear that the WNBA had turned into a two-tier system, games featuring the Fever and everything else. Teams began structuring their budgets around their Clark matchups. One home game against her could bring in more money than half a season's worth of others. It's an uncomfortable truth, but the data doesn't lie. Without Caitlin Clark, the league struggles to breathe. Critics warned that it's dangerous to rely so heavily on one player. And they're right. If Clark were to suffer another injury or decide to play overseas, the WNBA might collapse entirely. But before Clark arrived, the league was already drowning in apathy. She didn't create the problem, she exposed it. The WNBA's so-called breakthrough year has become a mirror, reflecting hard truths about sports, marketing, star power, and reality. Equality in opportunity doesn't guarantee equality in audience. Not all talent translates to ticket sales, and charisma combined with generational skill can change everything. The league can either embrace that reality and build around it, or risk sinking back into obscurity. Because those empty seats in the finals weren't just bad optics. They were a message. A chilling reminder that one player's light had illuminated the entire sport, and without her, the darkness returned. So, what do you think? Can the WNBA survive without Caitlin Clark? Or has the league become too dependent on her stardom to stand alone? Should the WNBA be investing more in promoting its other stars, or is Clark the only reason fans are tuning in at all? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you believe women's basketball deserves better. And make sure to subscribe, because the 2025 season is shaping up to be the most dramatic one yet. And we'll be here breaking down every moment that matters.